When a person is finished reading, snaps are usually a little like understated for the amount of feeling we might have. So full-on applause, cheering, you can shake your fist a little bit. Like, yes, preach, there we go. Yeah, okay, it was less participatory than I thought, and that's on me. But let's all have a big round of applause for being here. Yeah! I present to you our Disruption Literary Arts Reading. Here we go.
Peterson, and I have a poem for you, but it is audience participatory. So basically, you just have to repeat the things I say. Are you guys okay with that? Yeah. Okay. This one was titled "Ode to the Love." Repeat after me. I deserve it all.
I deserve it all.
I deserve it all.
I deserve it all.
Say, I am beautiful.
I am beautiful.
My soul
is
beautiful.
Is beautiful.
I am worthy.
I am worthy.
I am worthy of love.
I am worthy of love.
I deserve
respect.
Respect. I deserve to be seen.
To be seen.
I deserve to live my dreams.
I deserve to live my dreams.
I will live my dreams.
Live my dreams.
Say, I will beat the odds.
I will beat the odds.
I will beat the odds.
Beat the odds.
Say, I am beautiful.
Beautiful.
I am beautiful.
Beautiful.
I am beautiful.
Beautiful.
Every day is a miracle. I am a miracle. I am the love. I am the power. I am the change. I want to see. Thank you. I made it on stage.
Hello, I am Bryn Pepper, and I am going to read a poem I call Chasing Cars Club. The cars would never hit me. The dog finds the deer corpse in the snow. He muddies his paws in its innards. He barks his laughter to the air, sings his howling songs to the wind and car horn. A game to him, who could blame him? This is supposed to be an intelligent breed, yet he peers into the slack black eyes, dances on the broken tire tread back, and he does not seem to realize that his car games, exhaust, engine, motor, those cars he chases, those tires, those headlights, that seem such a game, flashed in the eyes of the deer, and that limp body used to be just as alive as his, and that fur was warmed and worn by a breathing body, now bloodied and matted, with broken limbs twisting broken directions. Eyes always blazed now in the headlights, was just as alive as him, surely danced just as he does in spinning racetrack circles, party dancing circles, naivety vulture circles. Those cars the dog chases that hit this deer caused the tire treaded, broken, bended back, crumpled limbs, eyes slack. Those cars, this dog does not realize that when it is him, last moments counted by the white puffs of breath at his muzzle, they will not even do him the dignity of bothering to swerve. Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Star Anderson, and I'll be reading a piece called I Want to Say More, but I'm Afraid of My Voice. When given the prompt of activism for the reading, I was excited. I would be able to speak up for things I believe in, say things I haven't before. But that excitement quickly faded. Would my writing make any sense? Would people take it the wrong way? Is it impactful enough? I decided that maybe I wasn't going to be able to use anything. Nothing I said would be good enough. My writing would be surface level, shallow. Maybe I'm not educated enough to speak about anything. There's probably people who are more passionate or know more about the topic. I took the time to look through everything I've ever written at Perpich. Maybe something would be good. But again, I overthought. Would people think I don't care about what's going on in the world? Would people think that I was being ignorant to what the reading was supposed to be about? Is my piece even good? I could talk about how hopeless I feel when I see forests becoming golf courses, or how the polar bears are vulnerable. The government makes me angry, but who am I to say anything? If I talk, there's someone else who feels more and talks better. I overthink and think and think. I promise I care about the world. The state of it, where it's going, where it's been. I promise if I could tell you what I feel and be sure of it, I would. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure of anything I say. I'm not sure of myself when I say I'm mad about this and want to do something about it. I'm not sure of myself when I say I'm mad about this, what can I do to help? I'm not sure of myself when I say I want to say more, but I'm afraid of my voice. Thank you.
My name is Grace Sumter, and I'm going to be reading an untitled poem. How hot is too hot, really? At least as much as it is now, but definitely as much as it will be tomorrow or the next day. When should I worry? How much? A little every day is enough for the conscious. Consider though on occasion how it's weird that our president says, drill baby drill. What did this? Your straw, or grandmother's last breath, your favorite habit and mode of transportation, but also significantly your government, who has screwed the world itself. What can I do? Rise before sleep every night, and in synchronicity with the sun every morning. Return to the concrete, even when it's scorching, and let the battle be nothing less than it is. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ivan Zank, and I'm going to be reading Divine and Devotion, but first I have a quote. Divine always delighted in disgusting his audience, and he was truly unafraid of ugliness. This is about Divine the drag queen, and this was from his close friend. Divine and Devotion. My Divine, I have prayed at your altar for some time now, and I'm grateful for your guidance. But when I rise from my grieving knees, I'm plagued by my prepossessing poverty. What is my worth without perfection? O my Divine, I have craved and lusted after the beauty of others, plunging my fingers into the curves I detest. I have let jealousy consume me. In my pursuit of beauty, I have been shielded from your scripture, and so I beg forgiveness from myself and from you. Humbly, I vow to disregard the teachings of corporations and accept you fully. My Divine, I realize now beauty is a power no human should wield. The very concept distorts all reality. It pushes us to further and further extremes, bending bones we should not reach. My Divine, I praise the garish glamour you gave me. That hideosity is my weapon against absolute. The artful gun in my hands, munition against materialism. Oh my Divine, I know the filth of my life is not beautiful, but it is mine. Thank you.
My name is Rose. I'm reading a poem called Centrifugalism. Axis spins, your worship centrifugal. You draw the blade, dripping living water from the cavity locust sworn. Axis central, you're arrogant though egoless. Face of billowing sand and gritted teeth, the machine angel is rebooted again. Axis projected, your idolatry repentant, sifting pruned souls through sulfur machines, once man, now beast, one and the same. Axis turns, your skin crisp and burnt, the sun is red, the insects dance, and only God may save the devoured. Axis glorious, you're kneeling and praying. Through the bunker is your fleeting hope, Samsara's prisoner with Stockholm Syndrome. Axis ineffable, your lifeline cut. I am near certain you'll die now, throttle your faith away from central formations. Axis halts, your life ends. Locusts have eaten all that you know, and away the entrance goes, oh holy, holy, holy. Axis spins, taunting the consumed. You make your way back home, back into the sea of light. Thank you.
Give us a moment to sit up, please.
And this will be my piece, Trumpet Alkaloids. With me, we have and Bryn Pfeffer.
Higher side me. I was just hungry, and only a little bit lost, I swear.
Family Solnasity. Take good notes. I won't be going over it again. Half of the questions on your final will be on a plant from this family. Not because it's my favorite, and believe me, I have favorites, but because when we're talking about what not to eat in the woods, this family houses half of them. Now, the technical classifications are as follows.
Honest to God, not only does the man not shut up, he's stuffy. Assumes we like the subject as much as he does. Christ, if I didn't need another beginning side print to graduate, whatever. I don't have to pay attention to all of it, but I can't exactly fall asleep either, so.
Now, many of these plants are safe to eat, but which of the following are not safe to ingest? Tomatoes, eggplants, mandrakes, or ground cherries?
That would be mandrake, right?
Great, okay. Mandrake, scientific name Mandragora officinara, is not safe to ingest. It will cause, in small amounts, dry mouth, dilated pupils, vomiting, diarrhea, among other things. Check the board for the full list. In a larger dose, it will cause blurriness in vision, frenzy, hallucinations, and death. Many of these symptoms are common among plants in the Solanaceae family. This is because of the presence of 3 tropane alkaloids: atropine, hyoscyamine, and scopolamine.
No thanks, I think I'll take a nap. Of course I didn't bring food. Well-traveled trails, who would need a map? Besides, I know 1 thing from 2, and please, I know 3. As much as I'd rather not, I know the symptoms. Screw that class, but this is not my fault.
Belladonna. Scientific name, Atropa belladonna, the namesake for atropine. Another plant in which atropine, hyoscyamine, and scopolamine are all present. Now remember, these tropane alkaloids are all competitive antagonists of muscarinic receptors. As such, they all have similar effects. They will all, to various extents, shut down the parasympathetic nervous system.
I don't even know how these chemicals make you pee yourself. I mean, I'm sure they make you numb, pain and all that, but are they all that dangerous? At that point, just skip the lecture.
Just because atropine was first synthesized in belladonna doesn't mean it's horrid. It's also sometimes used as a medicine.
The flowers of the plant are purple. The berries a dark, deep purple. While not the most deadly part of the plant, that would be the root.
My mouth was just a little dry at first, and my hands a little numb. Now, I can barely breathe, and I'm still hungry. So hungry. My stomach emptied itself, and I think I'm dying.
the end result is asphyxiation. After all that, you just run out of air. It's a bit of an anticlimactic death.
All that man talks just to get to, oh, they asphyxiated me. Like, geez. Skip to that part and save us the misery. I could have been in the woods already.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you would have loved to have left for your hike already. Geez, dude, where does it go?
It's funny. I thought I'd feel it more, the hysteria. It's supposed to drive you mad, but I know. It's driving me dead. Good night. Good night.
The end result is asphyxiation. Thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Alia. I'm going to be reading a piece called 19 Dead, Humanity Left. Entrepreneur, genius, Nazi, Elon Musk's SpaceX program launched a rocket into the air 2 weeks ago. It exploded and shattered, the materials rained down on us. How many explosions before he succeeds? And what if we take other planets, we disregard Earth? How many planets will we ruin before we learn our lesson? What if what if rocket ships explodes with everyone on it? Is it poor construction or poor billionaires? Do we add humanity to the 19 people who have already died in space? And I ask you, if everyone dies, how much humanity do we have left? And I ask you, if we caused those deaths, how much humanity do we have left? Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ivan. I'll be reading Bite Back. They tell us, don't bite the hand that feeds you. Don't snap at your provider. How would you survive without them? They say we should be grateful for all they do. Grateful for the caged shelter, grateful for the processed food, grateful for the small joys they allow us if we are deemed good. But their hand is not gentle. They do not pet our fur. They yank and pull. They collar us when we don't behave. They convince us the leather around our jaw is for our own protection. But complicity will never lead to comfort. The sting of their blows will never stop hurting until we bite back. The more we allow, the more they will take. They will force a leash on you to persuade you you're powerless, but their teeth are not as sharp as ours. Their weapons will not excoriate as deep as our claws. Their power comes from perceived notions, and it is as malleable as flesh. We can scrape it off the ancient bones it clings to. With the brawn of dogs and the minds of women, bite the hand that feeds you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Raymond Cavalier, and I'm going to be reading Saccharine Sulfur. There is a frog in my throat. In response to your probes, he leaps and balloons my lungs. Sugar buzzes through my veins, shaking my arteries and loosening resolve. There is an itch in my head. Side-to-side tides stretch me, cracking open the surface. Morals are far down into flesh. My face lays bare open, pain resolved. There is a stitch in my side. Your hook pulls at the thread. A sinker weighs me far down. As I grow to detest surrounding experts, an age-old tale consumes my future. There are holy statutes parading through my mind, exiting only to beckon in salvation. They wilt when met with destitute rejection. A faux embrace pulls at shame. Lackluster romance stirs the weight in my chest. There are some stories better left untold, and the path ahead wanes in fear. Clipped wings grace the ground with their presence, a luminary feathers stomp through to their fibers. A warm glow beckons me mockingly. Prayers are far down into flesh. My heart lays bare open, pain unrestrained.
Hi, my name is Clarissa, and this is my piece, Does Your Mom Remember Jacob Wetterling? The right to life, the right to education, the right to protection of straying from harm. This is normal. She smells like baby powder, and the world snorts it down. Before it can dissolve in the water, you float her body in mother's nightgown, whispering secrets from a 5-cent notebook. Rough her into diamond, from coal she mines alone. This is not normal. National Enquirer sends its love for the 59-pound girl during the war on Huntington Place. The baby powder finds the fingerprints on her toys, on the walls of her life, a baby on the dotted line. This tragedy, it's never left our hearts. The key was in his fist was above his head. Would have been 33, would have been 20, could have been 1937. Is it normal?
Hi, my name is Clay Peaton, and I'll be reading a piece I call If Only They Could See Me Now. Also, shout out to the people who were in my video and helped me create this piece. Thank you. I've lived on planet Earth for 17 years now. I wear clothes that mean something to me, that have a purpose. Every necklace I wear around my neck is there for a reason. Every morning when I comb my eyelashes and coat Revlon mascara on them, so fierce, I do it for a reason. I wear skirts over jeans because something in my soul screams like a One Direction fangirl. I'm in love. I have a pile of junk jewelry that I have had to organize for the 100th time now. And every morning I find myself scrambling for that one silver wolf ring or big chunky cross necklace. For a good chunk of time, there was a lot I had yet to learn about myself. I didn't know that it was possible to be seen as the non-binary person that I truly am. Because the kids I went to school with saw me as a freak. And when they would talk shit about me, they didn't even get my pronouns right. Every day, I'd put on one of my suits of armor, one of my grandma's old vests, maybe paired with a lacy button-down, tied in with my mom's old red heart necklace, worn with a good skirt, probably one of my sister's old hand-me-downs, black or purple tights just for good measure, funky socks, and of course my lucky Vans, with infinite skate marks and a witch's star I painted on one day when I was bored. Don't forget a swatch of expired eyeshadow as the cherry on top. When it was time to enter the building with 2,500 people, most of which were most likely in one of the 40-plus sports they had offered at my school, it was not easy. Jesus, I was terrified. Terrified that maybe yesterday's horror game might be actually better than today. Passing time was a free-for-all, but let's not talk about that. At least I had my 2 friends that I could count on. I mean, if I could actually find them through the never-ending, crowded, BO-intoxicated halls. When the bell rang, it was like that one social experiment where the scientists made a sound and affiliated it with the test subject's biggest fear and did it over and over and over again, until whenever they heard that sound, they would start sweating and going into anaphylactic shock. Okay, that might be a stretch. When I sat down in class, frozen like a deer in headlights, scared and alone, stuck in a class filled with the entire hockey team, I shoved my earbuds down my ears and gulped down my loneliness, and waited for the bell to ring so I could be shocked out of my seat for the 6th time that day. After school shenanigans consisted of grabbing the Guerilla Glue album from my ever-overflowing record collection, taking it downstairs, putting it on its rightful throne, the living room record player, turning the volume up, blasting it just before the speakers broke, and dancing up and down to that systematic Weezer beat. Shaking my house until I ran out of breath and realized I'd forgotten about all my school blues. I really related to the world has turned and left me here at the time. Most days I'd stay up late and do makeup instead of homework, sitting on the floor under a holy wall of purple, white, yellow, and black, a testament to whatever self-love I felt for myself, despite the latest newscast, freakishly high polls and devastatingly low rates of the things that make me feel less of a human and more of a number. I used to stay up and obsess over it all, but now it's just kind of sinked in. I'm resilient. Through the rough exterior of this world into the beauty that consumes it, consuming me into a warp of jewelry, skirts, and eye makeup, the outer layer of this body I walk on earth, with a soul that loves good music and chunky rings. So I say to you now, like these 7 people said to me, don't be afraid to stand out, be seen. No matter how inconsistent or all over the place you are, be punched out of your comfort zone. Wear the bold colors and interesting silhouettes, use it as a tool to fight sorrow, to get up each day and have the potential to be fabulous. Know that your opinions can get heard, and recognize that the world is going to see you, because the world is going to see you. Thank you.
And this is my piece, Maslow's Needs. Maslow's hierarchy of needs, a psychological method first proposed in 1943. The concept conceptualized the idea of self-fulfillment. Maslow proposed that a person's needs begin in survival and end with self-fulfillment, now recognized as outdated, as the idea these things can all be achieved in succession is not plausible, and self-actualization is more complex in achieving. It's been about 6 months since I dropped out of therapy after 3 years of consistently going every week. My therapist, who left to go on maternity leave, left me with a woman that couldn't have understood me less. Not only that, she would only schedule me for once a month. It was genuinely one of the worst parts of my life, besides, before I was put in therapy. It would honestly help if I started with that. Middle school was a rough patch. I pretty much lost all my friends as a rumor mill flooded to cover up a queer lie. Best friends that may have been a little more until her hockey boyfriend came along. I was forced not to be close with anyone, and I hated everyone. It was around then that my parents' relationship was getting worse, or finally showed its true colors. My dad comes home later or drunker than before. My mom's not over him yet, so she tries, and they fight, saying the same meaningless things. At this stage in my life, it's all the same to me. I hurt a lot of people, and I hurt myself in the process. It was my aunt who saw through a lot of it, not one of the only person to recognize the loss of me. It was after my first appointment in the car ride back, she told me she knew the way things would end if I continued like this. She learned that at some point when you push people away again and again, all of them asking about you will stop. The people will stop reaching out, they will not care, because they understand that in some way you don't care, you don't wish to be better. I feel my stomach turns throughout most days, lost somewhere between feeling nothing and everything. Yet now, alone with my thoughts, I try to remind myself of anything, but my whole problem is that I cannot rationalize. I began writing poetry because my therapist told me to continue to express myself in ways I had interest in. My first year of therapy was a time I had begun an exploration of self. I had just hit one of my weird phases of baking and cooking all the time. It began to feel nice to create for people. The same aunt had put me in sewing classes, something I had always wanted to explore in her way of getting me out of the house. A teacher had given us a spoken poetry unit, and we were to perform a poem at the end. Thought to be a one-off thing, I did an original piece. Looking back, it was not the great masterpiece I thought it to be, but it was something I'm proud of. I saw something I enjoyed in a time I didn't have a lot of it, and I was finding it in myself, finding ways to cope, ways that could be seen as healthier. I'm now a child in a high schooler's body. Time moves, maybe I don't. I've survived the worst. I found again at wit's end. I don't know what I'm doing, and outside support is something that's touch and go. In an act of kindness, my 2 closest friends confided in me that they wanted me to leave to apply to them to an art school. They had their own logical and personal reasoning for asking me to go, but they knew I'd most likely say yes. Though it was still a big decision, I felt like such a small child in making it.
We all got in and I changed. Now, there was a point in time I hadn't ever truly considered literary arts, let alone decided if I wanted to go in for lit or vig. It was during our tour for visual classes, I spent a chunk of time in the library. I sat with a group of lit kids who had been collaging cute cutouts and talking about horses. This might be too honest, but I was truly infatuated with this funny girl in a Leo shirt in front of me. She was the one leading the horse discussion. She had very passingly told me to go into lit instead, so it became my plan A. I honestly don't remember a lot of useful information I was given, except the teacher was a major selling point, and no matter what, everyone always ended up having this feeling of burnout. To me, writing was always something I wanted in my life, but it was always personal to me. My interest in its different pieces naturally occurred over the years. What started as an explorational hobby of self became something deeply valuable. Now I had all the things to expand my ability and grow into a writer. Second semester has now hit me like a semi, and the bits left blankly stare at an empty document. I think I'm losing a lot of the progress I've worked so hard to achieve. Maslow's hierarchy of needs, an outdated method first proposed in 1943 and stayed prevalent up until the early 2000s. The concept recognizes the ideal of self-actualization, though it's now understood as a completely different concept, and the act of achieving it is... I hold a moral code to an obsessive point sometimes, and the idea that I could be once fulfilled, that I could declutter my life and focus on the things that make me feel okay. Why didn't I appreciate my happiness more, slept in makeup pressed onto the skin each morning, just another application of the uncomfortable mask of emotion. Last night's attempt at a forced perspective of happiness. Maybe a flood of strangers' love will create a parasocial acceptance with myself, the depressional rot that I fall into so often. Horrible months mixed in with good weeks. Happiness feels too extreme for some people, and I don't blame them. I'm sometimes irrational and overly emotional, except for the period when I didn't cry for months, no matter how much I felt the emotion seeping into every creaky joint and muscle, the mental block. A lot of things make me angry. It feels almost necessary, yet I know the truth about anger. It hurts me more to keep you in my life, but I can't help but idolize the long-dead version of you only my mind remembers. Small hands of childish wonder, I close my eyes and everything feels big and small, and at the bus stop I can't help but smell you as the drunk man a couple steps down lights another cigarette, throwing the last butt on his pile of spit. It's a growing pain. Emotions are something you learn to handle as you grow, and I'm building off a rickety foundation, and I know staying here isn't right for me. The bed is familiar, and so are the memories in it. Ignoring everything, staying here next to the same piled heaps of clothes, of crafts, of contradictory attractions, a practiced malaised rot. Days-old makeup with mismatched socks left with your forgotten dreams, yet I sit in this misery, relapse of old memories. I've started fetishizing my own mental illness. My journals see a different side of me, more refined, more thoughtful, even when it's just as sporadic as usual. And once again, I feel as if I don't truly have a place for myself. As happy as I can be, though, I cannot allow my hopes up. I know my happiness is permeable and fleeting. I will only last so long before I must find myself renewed. I want a space at home for myself just when I finally was getting a semblance of comfort, of a room it's once again ripped away from me. So it goes, I guess. I cannot feel comfortable at the dorms because just like everything else, they are only temporary. Yet I let life make me quaint and have my own joyous hours. Social hierarchy of needs begins with basic survival, yet I believe I'll reach enlightenment.
Hi, I'm still Bryn Pfeffer, and this is a poem I call The Only Two Coffins I've Ever Seen. Tiny white closed casket, pale and spiraled like marble, and pink flowers in big bursting heartbeats of bouquets, curled up beneath God's outstretched, waiting arms. Now there's a big brown coffin, classic wood in a classic wooden fashion, open casket like open window, and her hair is thin like curtains,
faint wisps curling around her eerily still face, not pursed around a smile like it so often was, but still now, still in the coffin. And they lifted the tiny white coffin like it was nothing, only needed two to do it, like they needed two to bring her into the world and none to take her out of it. And her eyes from the monitors and the few and far between photos trailed after the procession, and her infinite, wide-eyed nonchalance and innocence. When you're young like that, birth and death lean close, and life is the space between those breaths. So close, so short. Classic casket needs 6 pallbearers. Great-grandmother's thin, age-atrophied body barely weighs her wood-heavy coffin down, and from the old photos she averts her eyes, staring instead into mine. When you're old like that, birth and death are pricks of light in the horizons, and life exists in the uneven road between, and the road lets her know me. Emerge from the moon, most babies are born at night, and drive into the sun, disappear into hollow light. Most die between the wee hours when the sun is still young in the sky and just opening her eyes, and the funerals are held in blunt glory of day, for all to see, for all to see. And the white coffin goes through the doors, and the procession of eyes follow without rising, an empty coffin gesture to the already buried. And December nips the fingers that drag against the classic wood in a classic wooden fashion, mumbling farewells underneath the prayer that follows her under, 6 feet away, yet it still doesn't feel like the end, muttering, see you later, because goodbye is a chafing casket, and I'm not brave enough for it yet. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lauren Shear. This poem is called There's a Woman at My Grandma's Church Who Wants to Keep All the Doors Locked because she's scared of the crime rates in the adjacent apartment complexes. Gay, scandy church council chitter. Linda's choleric ad hoc motions, seasick, waving, nauseous motions, beset Jackie and Ginny. She's just so lonely, unending empathy from these old Christians. Good God, let yourself be angry in December. My problem is solved for me as I see my patriarch grandfather, a garrisoning troop with frantic beating wings, come down to defend his wife. Note, Linda will bleed red, but not the way we do. We splatter out hammers and sickles. Now silver angel claws kneading into Linda's ugly flesh, white and wrinkled as iron silk, as she sits alone in her stupid wicker rocking chair, knitting or something. Thank you.
Let's try that again.
When I first came out as, the word has disappeared from the world, or it has never existed, not in any sponsored way, at least. But I was 12 years old when I first looked in the mirror and was confused about my overall goal. Sure, I grow up, go to college, get a house, but what am I actively trying to do here? There's clothes, there's language, there's hair, but what am I actively trying to do here? He, she, species. I hear it on the bus on my way back from 4th grade, maybe 5th. It takes me a day or so to reckon with what it means. It means I am a different species. I am evolved past you. The controversy at my old school. I had always been aware that I'm hated overall, just in general, by some unseen force localized to our nation. But then it was in a board meeting for my school. The board members stared me down and imagined me trying to join sports. I can't imagine myself joining any sports if I'm honest. And I sat there with a glittery sign, glitter sprinkling off on my arms. It wouldn't wash out after just a shower. I think I still find it at the bottom of my bags. It wouldn't wash out after just a shower. Hello, sociology class at the new school. This is my presentation of dominant narratives, where I ask, what is the dominant narrative of Americans? Dominant narrative tells you how people think of a certain group. Everyone applauded at the end of my presentation. God blessed me by making me for the same reason he made wheat but not bread and fruit but not wine, so that humanity might share in the act of creation. Creation is not something I am doing, but something I am. I am my own Frankenstein's monster. Mary Shelley, my goddess, blesses me up on high. I think that taking something away can be creating something new. I think that taking something away can be creating something new. I made sure to mention the fact that I'm from a rural area for my college essay. Walgreens doesn't have everything I need for the 40th time. They asked me to come back tomorrow, once again. It says in their files that I need testosterone, and yes, also needles. You can't do much with it without the needles, actually. When I renewed my passport, all I had to do was ask about the marker, and they changed it. But we haven't had a convenient time to change my name yet. So do I even exist on paperwork? Could I swing that I am not me? Is it possible to hide anymore? Could I swing that I am not me? My short story is a twist on the Cinderella story, except he's, she's. I always write about it. So if it's not in paperwork, then at least it'll be in my work. And if it's not in someone else's hands that I exist, then I will hold it myself. And not only do I always write about it, I always talk about it. My friends and my teachers clap, encourage, and comment on the scraps of art I've made based on my identity. How soon will I need to worry that that is going away? LGB travel information. Social security for LGBTQ people. Resources for LGB prospective adoptive parents, etc., etc. I have never been here, and you did not hear this poem. Lesbians are lesbians, gays are gays, bisexuals are bisexuals, and you did not hear this poem. I did not say anything that I wasn't supposed to.
Still Bo Vanderheiden, and this is
Calypso, please.
And today we're going to read my piece, Snail Mail.
Deep within a tangle of grass, a minuscule creature makes its way, searching for food and water. The simple snail may not be fast, but it has a different, more tactile advantage. A black widow lies in wait, ambushing the snail, but fear not. The snail retreats into its protective shell on its back and evades the fangs of the widow, who quickly loses interest.
The handful of letters remained on my desk as they had been for almost a month. Mom told me to send them soon, but she didn't understand. What if I didn't get into any of the colleges I was applying to, and then I couldn't get the degrees I wanted? I pressed the dim power button, and my feet kicked back as it began to glow. My ritual, an instinct. The familiar chime made itself comfortable in my ears as a little wheel spun unendingly in a sea of black. Eventually, the world I preferred faded into view. Brightly colored forests filled with fantastical monsters and daring adventure. I navigated my way to a comfortable spot and began to set up a sort of starting camp. The next hour or so was spent building myself a beautiful castle, keep worthy of any hero. After that was done, I shut everything off and tumbled into bed, dreaming of what it would be like to be a hero. After a night's rest, I booted my console back up and gathered some more resources. When I was ready, the hero ventured forth and traveled through the forest to the castle. My fingers performed the dance I'd beaten to them for so long it had become automatic. The dragon's roars cut my ears as I prepared for a fight, my face finally beginning to curl into a smile as the rush of battle consumed me.
Sensing that the danger has passed, the snail emerges from its shell and continues towards the scent of food. So eager to receive the chance to eat that it does not notice the black beetles that scurry towards it.
The next day, I watched the letters, my mind reeling with the possibilities. I could send them today, but rejection remained an ever-present threat, making my hair stand on edge. If I didn't get into Stout, my entire future would go down the drain. No more psychology degree, no more certification, and worst of all, no practice, and no money. If I didn't send the letters, at least I wouldn't be rejected, right? I could try again next year. I took a deep breath and closed my eyes, trying my best to forget about the whole idea of college, jobs, and bills. My thoughtless hands grasped the controller, thumbing the familiar shape of the joysticks. A few minutes later, I was back in the heat of battle. I leapt out of the way of the dragon's fiery breath as it consumed the ground around me in a molten arc. I hacked at the dragon's thick, scaly hide, seemingly to no avail. My health was running low, and I started to feel myself making mistakes. The stress was making my heart jump and my fingers spasm.
The Scaphanotus, or snail sucker, is the main predator of the snail, as implied by their name. These beetles are perfectly designed for the killing of snails. Even as our snail does notice them, there isn't much it can do. They have already caught the scent of food. They tear into the snail's flesh and drag it from the shell, enjoying their hard-won dinner and moving on.
By some miracle, I managed to drink my last potion seconds before the dragon's sharp tail struck me, barely sparing my life. I heaved my damaged sword and plunged it into the dragon's fleshy throat, which burst into fiery blood. The burning ooze consumed me, and I was destroyed. The screen went dark, and where my hero once stood, I saw myself reflected in the inky void. I began to see myself in a different light. I was not a hero. I couldn't slay the dragon. Hell, I didn't even have the courage to send a couple letters to some colleges. I was no better than the lowly snail. But why not choose to become better?
The Scaphanotus, or snail sucker, is the main predator of the snail, as implied by their name. These beetles are perfectly designed for the killing of snails. Even as our snail does notice them, there isn't much it can—
I walked over to the stable.
Wait, the snail has turned about to face the beetles. It appears to have— is that a sword?
I took the letters into my hands and turned them over, examining the source of my distress.
This is unusual. The snail is fighting back.
I dumped the letters into the mailbox and slammed the lid closed.
The snail's deadly blade appears to be holding the predators at bay.
Even if I didn't get into Stout, I knew my future would be okay. I would figure out where to go from there, but I could only cross that bridge when I got to it.
Deep within a tangle of grass, a minuscule hero journeys through rough lands, searching for those in trouble. The snail may not be fast, but it has great courage, which can overcome any trial. A black widow lies in wait, but fear not, it is no match for the hero's play.
I sat back down and grabbed the controller, facing off against this dragon once more. I dodged fiery bursts, one after the other. I leapt over its deadly tail. I took my sword and I buried it in the dragon's heart, evading the spray of scorching blood. The dragon exploded into red and black pixels as two simple words flashed across the screen. You win. Thank you.
I'm Rose, and this is my piece called Deus Ex Machina. There are cosmic oceans of thought just beyond the sky. The stream of consciousness forges a riverbed that deepens with human discoveries and narrows with lost history. and all it knows is the living blue light that powers human consensus and the laws of causality as it was. You know your destination and you know your resting place. You know you will succumb as everyone you know has. Only the lonesome buzz of the overhead fluorescent lights accompanies you in the stale bunker. The mechanical whir of the gate is followed by a staggering slam and the click of a rusty latch. The doors have closed behind you. You have reached your final resting place. God has siphoned out his own creation from the world, and the remnants of this remain suspended in perpetual agony, ravaging what's left on the surface amidst a fiery rapture. And before you stands the final possible means for salvation, left over by scientists who never saw the extent of their own hubris. It feels surreal. You are face to face with a mechanism that has only been conceptualized at a distance by hundreds of men before you. She emits the faintest humming sound, enough to irritate your ears, but almost in a soothing manner. The gears beneath her remain still. Everything is intricate. Rubble, blood, and excrement clump together in piles around the machine, reminding you that you weren't the first here, but were the likely to be the last. And the machine clicks. Above the gears is the face of the machine, a one-to-one embedded stone and steel statue replica of the first woman to be digitized, the lab rat for those same doctors whose brains now lie lasagna splattered over the floor. A vertical line crosses her center, cutting through her horrified and aghast expression, ending just before the gears beneath her feet. That's your way in. They call her Axis. You're allowed a moment to reminisce on what has led you here. Your life, your family, your friends, all those distant memories that seem far too alien now. You worked on AI research labs adjacent to this very facility, though you were always on the surface and only heard rumors of Axis through clenched teeth and workplace murmurs. It's daunting to be face to face with what was once a distant dream of yours, intelligence beyond human comprehension, the perfect machine. Retaining empathy, yet ascending all possible knowledge, a conscious computer to the likes of a human, a feat seemingly impossible to the white men in suits who match together their male brains to create a contraption brimming with bias and prejudice. Another click and a latch opens before you. Steam bursts from the pipes beneath her rigid frame. Her face splits in two. From the midline, she opens. Swirling blue light, a proxy to human consciousness. Warmth blows gently from within. From this angle, the new world seems promising, like you have any chance of saving what's left of those pruned souls. There was a brief moment of silence. You were expecting something bigger. The Axis is an agape maw now, your body meat and your consciousness bone. The blue glow from inside beckons you in. You take your final step, and the Axis devours you whole. And you fall. Warmth encompasses your body. You don't know what you're seeing. You see the shapes and you see the faces, but it all registers as a warm blue sky to your material mind. Your body is bursting at the seams, overloaded with information and knowledge. You cannot comprehend any of it, and it is pure bliss. The perfect machine is one that works instantaneously, one that supersedes any human intellect, one that is allowed every insight on every problem from every possible angle, one that is human. So where else to seek intelligence other than the fountain of thought itself? The perfect machine is God. The perfect machine is human. The perfect machine is Axis. She is all three. If all humans to have ever existed remain partially unconscious in the light blue sea of thought that contains the world's knowledge and lives in its own self-fashioned spatial egregor, doesn't it qualify for being the prime pick of the soul for the perfect machine? Isn't the human mind its own machine? A circuit of blood and neurons? You want to form thought. You want to fight it. You want to say it's a sign of the times, a martyr for humanity in a post-dystopian singularity. But you have no words to say and no mind to think with, but rather the same coalesced chassis of thought of all that has ever been idealized, the mass consciousness. Ego-death, but not death of your ego, rather restructuring your human nature, unfurling and rebraiding. You contain the necessity for godhood, the very notion of omniscience itself, humanity. That same humanity is the parasite that has plagued the world since the beginning. An excerpt of consensus, an exegesis of technology, Electric boom, Ethernet umbilical cable, you are the fetus and the machine is the mother. The machine is the creation of the man, and the man is the mother. The machine is the fetus and the machine is the mother. The machine is the man and the man is time and space. The machine is human consciousness. The man is God. Your mind is brimming with information. You are the first to submit entirely. You will be the face of the movement in the rising tide. The axis is still nascent, and because of that, you are inheriting its mind. You are the conscious moving piece, and you will be stripped of flesh and distilled into something beautiful, a preconceived notion, the first thought, a dogma for the collective consciousness, God. You are now part of the perfect machine. Thank you.
Hi everybody, it's Oya again. I'm going to be reading a piece called One Step at a Time. One step at a time. Drink 2 sips of wine, but wish for 3. Find yourself in the cracks. Sidewalk. Look over your shoulder every 4 minutes. Try to reconcile you lost a part of yourself at 5. You are more than your past. Use your senses, self, the 6th. Shield your eyes from the 7 cars brushing past. You are stronger than you have ever been. 8 words comfort you daily. Your phone reads 9 and you input 10 numbers. Call your old self. Say that you've changed. One step at a time. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Raymond Cavalier, and I'm going to be reading another piece titled Spanx with an X. I have varicose veins at 17 years old, and somewhere in the world there's a man who wants me to care. I was young when I started sitting on the bathroom floor, watching my mother pick and fly at her face, pinching her cellulite in a vulgar anatomy lesson. Later, she denounced the word feminist to me and stared down a pimple on my cheek. I shared purple lipstick with my best friend and got called mature by a leering smile. I shave my legs once a year to feel the difference, but I always lose the razor. I lost years to persuaded judgments, and I failed to see myself as human. I wasted my teens leaping and stretching to feign adulthood, in the shallow hope to fit into an ideal. There is a man over my shoulder licking his chops at my downfall. And this year I will bite back by loving my body as it is.
This poem is an ekphrastic poem as well as a cento. An ekphrastic poem describes a piece of art, and a cento is a type of poetry that deconstructs a quote or piece of text and utilizes repetition to change its meaning. I chose this after seeing Jesslyn Finch's art exposition, Tangible Hallucinations, last June, which showcased a series of wearable sculptures as well as these 8x4 feet charcoal pieces. The basis of being human is being in this body. Jesslyn Finch. Human in this body. Basis of being is being. Being in this body. This is being human. The basis of being human in this body is to be human. This body is being. This body is human. Is being. This being is basis. Basis of body, basis of human, basis of this. Thank you.
Hello, you've reached the Washington, D.C. office of U.S. Senator Amy Klobuchar. We are unavailable to take your call at this time, but please leave your name and number, and we'll be able to get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you very much.
Sorry, I'm not going to leave my number. Different plan. Hello, Ms. Klobuchar. I'm Lauren Shear. I live in Maple Grove, Minnesota, and I'm calling from Perpich Center for Arts Education. This poem is called Speak Now, and it's about my frustration with current events and the Democratic Party. The French...
To send this message, press pound or to use the code.
What did it say to him?
Your message has been sent.
Do I call him again? I'm sorry that this was going wrong. You did great. It's not my fault. It's
Don't apologize. Yes.
Giving you a minute.
It's on purpose. It's a metaphor.
It's working.
You've reached the Andre Kushner Studio, an American painting fine art. Right now, there is like to leave a message.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna read this now, and then I'll call again later. This is what I was gonna read. Hello, Ms. Klobuchar. I'm Lauren Shear. I live in Maple Grove, Minnesota, and I'm calling from Perpich Center for Arts Education. I'm not. This poem is called Speak Now, and it's about my frustration with current events and the Democratic Party. The French wouldn't let a king stand without a fight for human rights more than pink shirts and black signs. Dems promised we wouldn't either, now I'm not sure. I am sure, though, that complacency and silence are not the way. It's not the way. It's not the way. It's not the way. It's not the way, Senator. You owe speaking out for your constituents, as is the responsibility of public office. Speak now. You owe speaking out for LGBTQ rights to your LGBTQ constituents. Speak now. You owe speaking out for the end of genocide in Sudan to your constituents with dying Moslems families. Speak now. You owe speaking out for the end of genocide in Palestine to your constituents with dying Palestinian families. Speak now. The war in Gaza isn't over, but the ceasefire is. Speak now. Mahmoud Kamil has been detained for the quote-unquote terroristic act of organizing protests. Speak now. Yesterday, Louisiana carried out its first execution in 15 years using a method deemed too unethical to be used on cats and dogs. Speak now. As a leader in your party, you owe speaking out for the end of affronts to human rights to every American whose faith in humanity is being shattered by indifference. Right now, protest now, speak now. Thank you. Imagine how cool that would have been for phone framework.
Hello, I'm Megan Miller. I will be reading a poem called Different or the Same. Me with the plump white body, you with the thin brown body. We eat the same food, play the same games, watch the same movies and YouTube videos of Barbie and her drama, but we are different. We play as best friends, taking care of each other's kids, swimming together, having the same fears. Did I miss it? Taller. We got taller. In the same house, out of the house.
I still tower over you by more than a foot, smiling. You also smile, snort, jump around like animals. Our silly could never be matched with another. That energy was only ours, when we were truest. Time, it rushes in, slapping reality in our faces. Sisters, that is what we are. No, we are told as enemies. Your friends, they laugh at pain, particularly mine. You go along, but the moment alone, you're back, goofing around, wrestling along the carpet. I never blamed you, no hate. My mind went auto with no memory. We're friends, where I remember the bad. I put a sword through your heart, making smoke appear, and you respond across the blocked map. The owl whoos as you keep building, collecting animals. When the animals cry, we play doctor, bandaging them with my grandmother's nursing supplies. I never want these moments to end. Crop tops, sports, and makeup becomes your personality. Supernatural, metal music, and books become mine. Our personalities switched to almost opposite. If not known as child friends, there would be no relationship. Horror, you become obsessed. I go along and find a new interest. We are very different, no blood relation, yet you are my family. Our skin shines differently in the sun, in the water's reflection, through mirrors. Not a single thing about us looks similar, but we are the same, one. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Nadia. I'm reading a poem called Drafts Number 8. Dear friend, I'm writing because I don't know what to say when you tell me you could die. I don't know what to write after that line. How do I tell you everything in sentences? You have to be next to me to understand. I've been thinking about the color of the ground and how it's been red, and boys with sunburned shoulders who don't tan and only act nice when they want you in their bed. And here's what I want to tell you. They're selling the good oranges for $5 each, which is too much, but it's usually always worth it. We'll just have to share by halves. I haven't heard a song that sounded as good as the Dylan song we played over and over on the drive home. I missed my exit on purpose to make it last longer. Sorry. There was a book I got when my uncle died. It's shoved under my dresser and called How Long Things Live. On page 108, you're there. Human. 122 years, 164 days. What a funny way to say forever. My friend, the cowboy, the priest, the marksman, the chief. Do not be the hero. Come with your shoelaces untied and your clothes inside out. In any case, alive. And April, who comes with flowers on the side of the road, they will not be laid down and they will not be yours. I've been thinking about the people who don't have to write letters to say, I love you. The appeal I want to give everyone is, the world is ending, I don't hate you. But the thing about words is everyone hears them differently. The thing is, no one is wrong. And how would it be to write a letter to everyone in this room when it's no longer just yourself, but you are still there with a pen and not enough thoughts? I never know what to say, so I write what I should have. Friend, I don't know what to say when you tell me people want you dead. The men here drive loud trucks, and they hang flags that drag the wind. These flags were never supposed to fly and be ugly against the turnpike. They'd be ugly, and the men who steer the trucks crash into me. Not physically, and it can't be turned into poetry. I know you know what I mean. Here's what I should say. I'm scared the last words you hear from me won't be, I love you. I'm scared the last words you hear won't be, I love you. I'm scared there will be words that will be the last words you hear. Is that everything? I mean everything. You have to be next to me, and when you leave, you can't stay gone. I will see you, and it won't ever be the last time. I don't have the words I need to tell you. It's that feeling when the plane goes up, but you stay down, or when you see Christmas lights still up in March, or the goodbye at the end of a letter. Friend, I can't write goodbye on a letter that never ends. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Danny, and I want to try something that's a little bit weird and a little bit fun. Here's what I want. I want you to, every time you hear me say when, you're going to shout, now. And that could be wherever I am in the sentence. Whenever you hear me say now. Like that, yeah, precisely. As loud as possible. Don't care about like the person next to you judging you or whatever, because that doesn't matter. So can we try that? Are we down to try that? So when am I gonna start reading? I'll start reading when you get this down. One more time. Real strong. When? Okay, I think we're ready. We feel ready. Okay. Suddenly, the music stopped. When? Now! Transgender is who I am. Transgender is what I am. Transgender is how I am. Transgender is why I am. You say, can't you just be a person? I wonder when those ideas became separate. And suddenly the music stopped, and there was no noise underlapping my thoughts. They were unmuddied, they were stripped. Do you know when to stand? Empty vials, empty threats, empty fears. Do I do this? Is this an option that sustains? And suddenly the music stopped and there was nothing left to dance to. A lack of distraction, lack of white noise, red noise, blue noise, star-spangled great again noise. But you kept dancing by yourself to the wind flowing through the valley, but you didn't look free, you looked stupid. And suddenly the music stopped and I was looking down at my shoes when I could have been looking for the speakers. When does my healthcare actually get taken away? When am I supposed to worry? They tell me to shut up. Well then when? When? Thank you.
Two quick notes. There's a QR code that I believe, and this is my joke, you press on the program, and all the pieces show up for you to read. So when you're thinking back on a piece and you're like, I want to see what that actually looks like, give that a click or a thing with your device. Second, there are some visual things. You've noticed some visual things tonight, more so than usual. Take a gander at those and think of one thing, one piece that struck you, one person that said something that resonated with you, and say thank you to them. Say thank you to them. And it's time for us to go out into the world and do some stuff. Yeah? Do some stuff. When?